Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and welcome back to another video. This one's Doctor Who centred. I mean, it's a big time to be a Doctor Who fan right now. We've recently just had The Power of the Doctor, which of course was Jodie Whittaker's last outing as the 13th incarnation of the role. That's come and gone. I won't talk about any major spoilers here, or I might do, who knows. So, fair spoilery warning, might talk about some of that stuff. Also, I have done a 42-minute, bang on the dot 42-minute reaction / sort of full review of the episode. I recorded it just after broadcast. There's a lot of thoughts in there, so if you want to hear my 2 cents on The Power of the Doctor, then do me a favour and go and check that out. So, this video I wanted to talk about a few things really. The crux of it I wanted to talk about was viewing figures, but some news dropped today, the day I'm recording this, that I also want to address, which is that Doctor Who is coming to Disney+. Now, we did already sort of talk about this. Back in July, I made a video which was discussing the rumours of the time that Doctor Who was going to team up with Disney Plus to host the show on there, but it was obviously a big question. Was it just going to be new episodes, like only? Was it going to be all of New Who? Was it going to be Classic Who as well? Well, now we have an official answer, because today the BBC said BBC and Disney branded television join forces on Doctor Who. Disney Plus to become the new global home for upcoming seasons of Doctor Who outside of the UK and Ireland, and BBC continues as Doctor Who's exclusive home in the UK. And it was accompanied with this picture. Now look at that logo. That, my friends, is our new Doctor Who logo, and to fans of the classic series it might look a little familiar, for in fact it's a modernised version, sort of redesigned, remastered version of the old Diamond logo, which was first seen at the Christmas time of 1973 in John Pertwee's final season, and was used for pretty much the remainder of the 1970s during Tom Baker's time. This original logo is what many associated with Doctor Who for years, for decades in fact, even all the way up until the show came back in 2005. But why? Why have we got sort of a remastering of a classic Doctor Who logo back now? Well, to me, it seemed a bit straightforward that, you know, the shape is a diamond. This is often referred to as the diamond logo. And next year, 2023, conveniently enough, is Doctor Who's diamond anniversary. It's 60th. So I do wonder, though, is this going to be used just for 2023? Is it going to be used for several years? And what will happen to the collection sets? Oh, no! Because if there's one thing Doctor Who fans don't like, it's a sense that there isn't any uniformity in the DVD or Blu-ray releases. But hey, we'll have to wait and see if the Whittaker era logo will remain on the collection sets or if we're going to go with this new one. Who knows? There's a little word from Russell T Davies, who of course is coming back to manage the show, who says, "I love this show, and this is the best of both worlds. With the vision and joy of the BBC and Disney Plus together, we can launch the TARDIS all around the planet, reaching a new generation of fans while keeping our traditional home firmly on the BBC in the UK." So as, you know, the article basically describes it and outlines that, yes, BBC is doing a partnership with Disney Plus where new Doctor Who will be shown in all territories outside of the UK and Ireland. So fans here in the UK, please don't be misled. You won't be, as far as I know, you won't be able to watch new Doctor Who on Disney Plus here in the UK. You will only be able to watch it on the BBC, whether that's BBC One or on BBC iPlayer. But I think this is fantastic news. I mean, yes, Doctor Who was being shown in other territories around the world on, like, respective TV channels. So, you know, in America it was BBC America, and, you know, in other countries it was other channels. But you could argue doing this might make it slightly more accessible. And yes, I know Disney Plus is a paid streaming service. There is a paywall. But I believe at the minute, and you can correct me on this, but I think, at least here in the UK, I don't know what it's like around the world, I think Disney Plus is one of the cheapest of the streaming services, you know, compared to like Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything like that. And Disney Plus, I think, edged Netflix recently, didn't they, in terms of active subscribers? I mean, Disney Plus, I've always felt Netflix, yes, it has its original content, its new shows, but a lot of them I find, you know, they get that buzz in like the week or month that they're released, and then no one ever talks about them ever again. Whereas Disney Plus, you know, has that wealth of Disney content, those classics everyone goes back to, whilst also creating new shows as well. So I think Doctor Who's a good home for it. Apparently Classic Who is going to stay firmly on BritBox, and then which will later be sort of molded into ITVX. That's where you'll be able to watch Classic Who streaming wise. A new Who, well, again, we don't know, but this logo, man, I love the fact we've remastered the diamond. The Who is embezzled in gold, which in the little video they show is sort of an allusion to, like, regeneration energy, so all very cool stuff. And before we actually get on to the meat and potatoes of what I was going to talk about, right at the bottom it says, Notes to Editors. The new episodes of Doctor Who will return to screens in November of 2023 with the 60th anniversary and will premiere exclusively on the BBC for the UK and Ireland. David Tennant will play the 14th Doctor for 3 specials before Ncuti Gatwa takes over the role as the 15th Doctor over the festive season. Oh boy, that's very exciting. And today a new Doctor Who logo was also unveiled for the new era. So yes, that means, folks, unfortunately, we are waiting 13 months until November of 2023 until we see David Tennant in action as the 14th Doctor. So he's not playing the 10th Doctor. He is very much the 14th Doctor, the new Doctor, and Ncuti will be Doctor number 15. A lot of people have been up in arms about this. I'm not too bothered. My, Doctor Who numbering system got first shaken about a decade ago, so I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. And interesting how it notes that Ncuti Gatwa's first official Doctor episode is due to air over the festive period in 2023. So is this the return of a Christmas special, Russell? Is that what you're planning, maybe? Very exciting stuff. Shame we have to wait over a year, but hey, we've become accustomed to long waits in Doctor Who now, so that's the way it has to be. But yeah, the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk about was viewing figures. And as many of you know, I have a penchant for viewing figures. I quite enjoy them. I have a whole series on the history of Doctor Who viewing figures where we've covered all of the classic era, all 26 seasons. We've covered the first part of the Wilderness Years and the McGann era movie. Don't worry, new episodes will be coming soon, hopefully. But obviously I wanted to talk about the power of the Doctor and how did its viewing figures hold up by comparison. Now, looking at the overnight viewing figures, so this is just what was recorded overnight. At the time I'm recording this, we don't have the consolidated ratings after 7 days, so you might have to wait for a follow-up on that. But the Power of the Doctor was seen overnight by 3.71 million viewers. This ranked it as the 4th most watched program of the day, behind a few BBC stalwarts. Strictly Come Dancing, the results show, I believe, cracked about 8 million. Antiques Roadshow, for some reason, got more than Doctor Who, which was quite a shame, and also an edition of BBC News, because if you're living in the UK, there's a lot of news going on right now. So yeah, 3.71 million. Now, obviously, to address this, I might sound like a broken record, but I feel it's important to say 3.71 million in this day and age isn't necessarily a bad overnight figure. If you look at the landscape of TV drama, the vast majority of scripted content is pulling anywhere from between, say, 2.5 to 4 million viewers overnight. And I'm talking about on the main terrestrial channels, particularly the BBC and on ITV. Now, yes, there are outliers. Obviously, everyone points to Line of Duty last year, which got something crazy, like 15, 16 million viewers. There are always going to be outliers like that for whatever reason. I know that was like the conclusion of, was it the 6th series? It was a big cultural moment, especially for those who like to watch it. So, but the average seems to be at the moment between 2.5 and 4 million. Now, Doctor Who getting 3.71, again, a lot of people attribute bad feelings to, because in the classic series, if a figure was in the 3 million range, you were in trouble. Like, that was bad back in the late 80s, when there were only 4 terrestrial channels, and there was satellite TV, but that, I believe that wasn't really accounted for, and also not many people had it back then. And let's just compare this. This is easily the most watched special overnight of Doctor Who in 2022. So Eve of the Daleks had 3.21 million overnight, and Legend of the Sea Devils had a very disappointing 2.2 million, which I believe stands as the worst overnight figure we've had in Doctor Who, which was a real shame. I mean, it was broadcast at Easter time with, I'd argue, very little promotion, which probably didn't help. It still was ranked, though, the 11th most watched program of the day. So, I mean, what does that show for ratings? Maybe it wasn't a particularly good day. But yeah, that was a shame. So to have a boost of over 1.5 million viewers on these overnights is great. And again, 500,000 over Eve of the Daleks as well. And let's just compare it very quickly to Flux, or the rest of Series 13, which came last year, this time autumn 2021. So on the overnights, the Halloween Apocalypse did trump it with 4.43 million, as did War of the Sontarans and Once Upon Time, which had 3.96 and 3.76 respectively. However, Power of the Doctor did get higher overnights than Village of the Angels, although it didn't get higher over Survivors of the Flux, but it did beat the Vanquishers. So do you see what I mean? These figures here from Flux are all very similar on the overnights. One interesting factor is the AI, the Appreciation Index, basically ranking you know, what people thought about it. Now, Doctor Who during Flux was hovering in like the mid to high 70s range, the lowest being 75, the highest being 79, which I believe puts it at like, you know, a good show. Not excellent, but like good. Whereas Power of the Doctor got an AI score of 82, the first time the show's been in the 80s for AI ratings for quite some time. So that was really nice to see. So where does this sit on the table? Well, I've been keeping track of the overnight viewing figures for Jodie's era, and out of the 31 potential places, the Power of the Doctor holds joint 26th place for highest overnights. It ties with Ascension of the Cybermen, which also got 3.71 million back in 2020. So yes, this is on the lower end of the overnight figure. Obviously at the top is The Woman Who Fell to Earth, which was Jodie's debut. That was seen by an audience overnight of 8.2 million, so, you know, 4.5 million more than what we got the other Sunday. And, you know, I think we all know the reasons for that. It was the first episode of a new era for a Doctor, the introduction of the first female Doctor, how much that was hyped up. Because when you look, the Ghost Monument, the next episode, that had a million less viewers. And then for Rosa, nearly a million dropped out again. And then for the rest of the series, it does decline or fluctuate. It hovers within the 5-6 million range. So I'd argue for, you know, the first few episodes of a brand new era, it makes sense that they're going to be higher and then peter off. Whereas the Power of the Doctor was the end of an era. And, you know, I quite enjoyed Jodie's era, but not to beat around the bush. Some people, well, a fair amount of people out there didn't like this era for whatever reason, so maybe those who weren't that interested were not going to watch on transmission, they weren't particularly bothered, they'll either watch on catch-up, or they might even not watch at all. So that's the stance on that one. So yeah, joint 26 on the overnights, the lowest of course being Legend of the Sea Devils. So the next question is, what's going to happen to the consolidated? So after 7 days, we get an updated figure, where we basically see how many extra viewers watched within 7 days of transmission. And these I find are always very interesting figures to look at. I mean, once again, looking to Flux, most episodes got around 1 million more viewers, or just about 1 million more viewers within 7 days, which, again, puts its total at something much higher. And again, just focusing on the specials, both Eve of the Daleks and Legend of the Sea Devils got over 1 million viewers within 7 days, which put their final total. So Eve of the Daleks was 4.299 or 4.3 million if you like, and Legend of the Sea Devils was 3.465. So if we round that up, you could round that up to 3.5. So considering that the Power of the Doctor already has a higher audience than the 7-day total of Legend of the Sea Devils, and they tend to get 1 million, I'd hope it would be really nice if the 7-day figure could crack 5 million. I think that'd be a really nice, that'd be a nice achievement and finale for this era, if you like. So if it cracked, say even if it got on the lowest end, it got like 5.01 million, that would only put it at, say, 22nd out of a potential 31 stories in this era. So, you know, if it just got over 5 million, yeah, you're hanging around in the bottom 10 there. Because on the 7 days, again, her debut got 10.96 million. So nearly 3 million extra people tuned in 7 days. Again, it's the first female Doctor. It's the start of a new era. It makes sense. And you notice that trend again. People are tuning in for the first 3 episodes, although the numbers are dropping. And then between Rosa and the Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos, they are dropping. But, you know, they're sort of remaining in a somewhat stable place. It's not dropping as rapidly. So yeah, personally, in the day and age of TV, I think 3.71 overnights, again for a scripted drama, one that's been going on as long as Doctor Who, is perfectly healthy. Certainly a lot healthier than Legend of the Sea Devils. I tell you what, I don't think I made a video at the time, but that overnight figure scared me. 2.2 million. Yeesh, that was a rough ride. But hey, 3.71, nice boost. People were watching. Again, it's a regeneration episode. There was anticipations about David Tennant popping up and all that sort of stuff. And now that word's spreading about what's in this episode and the hype surrounding it, I'd like to think again that, you know, we will crack 5 million on those 7 days. It would be so good if we could crack 5 million. And I'm confident, I'm hopeful even, that that will happen. But I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the Power of the Doctor will crack 5 million viewers after 7 days? Do you think it won't? What figures were you hoping it would get, etc. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about mainly. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on it. That would be much appreciated. And also subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. We would love to have you aboard. I may make an update in a week's time or so once that 7-day figure is out, just addressing that. I might not. We'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Hux Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, The Broken Kixumanoid, and Tobos Krotz, our AMTV staff members.